the Cleveland Indians are a win away from the World Series.
We're not done yet. We're going to come out with some serious fight.
50,000 here know how big this game is. In Toronto, the Blue Jays find themselves in a 3-0 hole, and we all know the only team, the Red Sox of 04, to come back from a deficit like that to win a best-of-7. Today, the Blue Jays will try to take the first step against an Indians team thinking sweep. It is Game 4 of the American League Championship Series. Good afternoon, everybody. Ernie Johnson along with Ron Darling. You're going to hear from Cal Ripken, the Iron Man, in just a second. Well, ironically enough, when the Red Sox did pull that off in 2004, their manager was the guy who's in the Cleveland dugout now, Terry Francona. His group looks to put this series away today, and they send Corey Kluber to the mound, doing something he's never done, Ronnie.
Well, he's never pitched on 3 days rest, but really their hand is forced. We've spent most of this 3-game series talking about how great Francona has used that bullpen, but they are running out of starters. They lost Carrasco in September. They lost Salazar in September. They lost Bauer in last night in the first inning. So now they're going to use Kluber a couple times. They have to, but on 3 days rest tonight because you want your best out there.
Meantime, on the Toronto side, as we swing this thing over to the Iron Man, Cal Ripken, look, I can even do this math. They have to win 4 games in a row, but they can't think that way, can they?
No, they can't win them all back at once. So they need to play it 1 game at a time. They got to figure out how to relax and just execute. So for me, I would look for the positives. One positive would be Aaron Sanchez. He's on the mound, probably this guy on the staff that has the best pure stuff. And we had him in the last game of the season, a high-pressure game, and he was absolutely nasty. On the offensive side, just remember, we had some really great swings against Corey Kluber in game number 1. He got out of some jams. We just didn't get the big hit. Let's just focus on playing it pitch by pitch and see what happens.
All right, thank you very much, Iron Man. Consider this, folks. 8 times this year, the Toronto Blue Jays have won at least 4 games in a row. Consider this also, sports fans. The Cleveland Indians, the only team in baseball to not lose 4 straight games all season long. Game 4, first pitch, coming up.
This 2016 ALCS telecast on TBS is brought to you by the Lincoln Motor Company and the exhilarating new Lincoln MKZ. By T-Mobile One, welcome to Unlimited Baseball. By Arby's, we have the meats. And by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey. Whatever you're celebrating, celebrate responsibly.
Back here in Toronto, and as you can tell, the roof of the Rogers Center closed for this start a short time after 4 o'clock. And the 4th member of our crew, our resident marathon runner, Sam Ryan. Sam, what you got?
Ernie, down 0-3, John Gibbons saying, hey, maybe we can be a team to make history, but no need for a team meeting. He said, that's something I haven't done all year, so I'm not going to start now. Kevin Pillar, I talked to him. He said, we won't have a players-only meeting either, but we'll talk amongst ourselves and just encourage each other. We know the task at hand here. We know we need to win 4 in a row, and nobody in that clubhouse wants to go home. We want to keep playing baseball. Ernie, you talked earlier about the Blue Jays winning streaks this season. They come into this game and this series, actually into the series, having won 6 in a row. The last 2 games of the regular season, the wild card game against the Baltimore Orioles, and then they swept the Texas Rangers in 3 games in the ALDS before dropping the first 3 of this series, guys.
And when you talk about streaks too, Sam, you can look at the Cleveland Indians and look at their last 3 games of the regular season when they went to Kansas City and swept the Royals. And then, well, they've been perfect in October, a record of 8-0 and a 9-game winning streak overall. Here's the way Terry Francona has drawn it up, and it looks very much like the batting order every time they face right-handed pitching. Carlos Santana, the DH, leads it off, and Jason Kipnis, Francisco Lindor in the 3-home. Mike Napoli snapped out of it in Game 3. Then Jose Ramirez, Lonnie Chisenhall, Coco Crisp, Tyler Naquin, the center fielder, and Roberto Perez behind the plate.
You know, Cal brought up Aaron Sanchez before. That last game against Boston, only gave up a solo home run to Hanley Ramirez and 2 hits over 7 innings with 6 strikeouts. His last 2 seasons, despite his young age, the Toronto Blue Jays are 8-1 after a loss when Sanchez was on the mound. And defensively, the same real cast of characters for this team. They don't have a lot of mix and match guys. Carrera, Pilar, Bautista, Donaldson, and Tulowitzki, the veterans on the left side. Goins and Encarnacion. Encarnacion and Bautista, both free agents for this ball club. Russell Martin behind the plate. Bautista last night had quite a play in right field. Just missed catching that double from Napoli that I'm not saying would change the game, but certainly would have gotten him off to a little better start. Cleveland instantly had a lead.
Falls into one of those categories of what ifs when you look at a series in retrospect. How about the umpiring crew today? Jim Reynolds is behind the plate. Mike Everett will make the calls at first. Jeff Nelson at second. Mark Wegner is the third base umpire. Down the lines, Jim Wolf in left. The crew chief is Brian Gorman. Makes the calls down the right field line. And in the replay center in Chelsea is Laz Diaz. Well, Carlos Santana steps in to face Aaron Sanchez. Cleveland picking up, when you consider their regular season record of 94 and 67, 6-0 in the postseason, win number 100 in Game 3 last night. Santana waiting on Sanchez, and we are underway here in Toronto. Thanks for being with us here on TBS.
Sanchez has a lot of life on his fastball, usually great sink away from the left-handed hitters.
Just 24 years old, 6'4", 200. A lot of arms and legs coming at you. They called him the baby giraffe. Ball and a strike, and here it comes. Breaking pitch and a beauty.
A good sign. Well, these are the kind of games that these young pitchers can make their mark.
He was shaking quite a bit. I don't know if he has that many pitchers or not.
Count even, 2-2.
To me, that was just a show pitch to go back maybe to that slider down and in. Carlos Santana always has had a great eye since his very first day in the big leagues. He walks 100+ times, it seems like, every single year.
Payoff pitch from Sanchez, and he struck him out.
Cal, as soon as I said he had a good eye, he swung at one out of the strike zone.
Well, it kind of reminds me of that last day of the season. Big Papi expanded the strike zone down there. It gives you an indication of how much that ball is sinking at 97 miles an hour.
Sanchez was the American League leader in ERA at an even 3, and had a 10-game winning streak at one stretch. Strike one to Jason Kipnis as he fouls it away. Kipnis connecting in Game 3. Got it all to right center field. Hitting only .091 in the series, and that is his only hit here in the ALCS.
Well, Sanchez only gave up 15 home runs and 192 innings pitched. Opposition slugging percentage against him, an AL low .335. If he's got that breaking pitch thrown for strikes, he's going to be tough today.
Two up, two down.
Well, you can already see what kind of stuff he has. They're just waving at the sinker in the dirt, and then that big breaking ball totally gets Kipnis right here.
You know what I find interesting, Cal, though? You have a veteran catcher, Russell, and Sanchez has shook him off 4, 5, 6 times. It's almost like he has his own game plan against these Indians. He's going to stick to it.
Here's Francisco Lindor.
You know, it's interesting. All the guys that had great sinkers that I played with, sometimes when they got too amped for a game, their sinker would straighten out. They'd overthrow it. Doesn't look that way right now. Early indication is the ball is really moving and sinking really good late. There's another one right here.
That's a good point, Cal. It's been 9 days since he pitched last against Texas. He only gave up 3 hits, but 2 home runs. It was not a good outing, or as good as that outing he had in Boston on the last day of the season.
That'll be out of play down the left side, and a ball and 2 strikes.
Wow, 6+ days.
I remember those days, just letting it go as hard as you can throw it. I don't care where it goes, it's just going hard.
That's the 3 pitch he put down, which is a high fastball. Here comes the breaking ball.
Just got a piece. 2-2.
It's hard for me to even imagine that Francisco Lindor is still just learning how to play this game.
I was talking to Robbie Alomar before the game about him. I go, it's obvious how great a skill he has, but talking to him, he really understands the game. Way more mature in between the ears than you'd expect.
Won't turn 23 until next month.
There's Roberto. And he's with the Blue Jays in 92, 93, the years I played. He was the best player I played against in those years.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Right side. Goins got a hustle, and he threw it out. 1-2-3 inning for Aaron Sanchez. We head to the bottom of the first. Batting order for the Toronto Blue Jays. Here in Game 4, Jose Bautista again in the leadoff spot. Then it's Donaldson, Encarnacion, and Tulowitzki. Russell Martin is going to struggle offensively. He's in the 5-hole. Then Michael Saunders, who homered in Game 3. Carrera and left, Pilar in center. Ryan Goins bats 9th against Corey Kluber.
Well, Corey Kluber, no runs in the 13 1/3 innings pitched. He's pitched in the post. Cal was talking about the traffic that he had on base against Toronto, but they were only 1 for 8 with men on base against Kluber in Game 1.
Bautista was 0 for 2 against him with a couple of strikeouts and a walk. In this series, he's 1 for 9 with 6 strikeouts.
You know, watching Kluber pitch here, the All-Star game now is played for home field advantage. If the Indians are able to go to the World Series, it'll go to Cleveland. Winning pitcher of the All-Star game in San Diego was Corey Kluber.
2 balls and a strike. 2-0 in this postseason as Kluber beat David Price in the American League Division Series. Bested Marco Estrada in the opener of this series. From this vantage point, Ronnie, what are you looking for when you're watching a guy do something he's never done before?
Well, when I'm watching Kluber, I'm watching always for the same thing. Fastball command on the outside part of the strike zone. if he's got that, he's going to have a great game because he's got a great slider. As far as the 3 days rest is concerned, I think he is just in such great shape that the physical part of it is not tough. The part that's tough is facing the same lineup twice over 4 days.
Right back up the middle. But that's where Kipnis had him played. One down. Hit the ball sharply.
Defensively for the Indians, Coco Crisp had a great play in last night's game. The rookie Naquid and Chisenhall having a nice offensive series. Ramirez, Lindor with a great double play up the middle on his knees. Kipnis and Napoli on the right side. And Roberto Perez, I've said it a couple times, so impressed with his defensive abilities behind the plate. I mean, that double play that he was able to just get in time, have his knee on the bag, and throw it almost 70 miles an hour over to first base.
There was a lot to like about that play. Here's Donaldson.
We're talking about fastball command. He didn't have it against Batista. He got 3 sliders over, and the last one was hit pretty good. But that comeback fastball looked like he's trying to get it back, trying to make it come back to the outside corner.
Popped him up. Perez throws away the mask and backpedaling makes the play. 2 down. Here's that play by Lindor, and only you should take this again, Cal.
Well, I talked to him today, and he said the ball hit the dirt and skipped on him a little bit. He stayed with it, but had the presence of mind to keep his knee on, and that's just arm strength right there, where he catches it and gets rid of it against his body without even having his shoulder closed, and gets rid of it quickly with a lot on it.
So we talk about the no errors being made by Cleveland, but also just making some sparkling plays. The play that ended the game by Kipnis on the backhand was another beauty. Here's Encarnacion. This is something you see when the Indians take the field before batting practice even starts, and this is Lindor taking a few grounders on his knees.
Cal, purpose of that?
Well, he just wants to get down and make sure he has his glove working for him. You can't go forward, you can't charge it, you can't go back, so you're feeling balls like in between hop and just using your glove. It takes a little skill for the fungal hitter too, by the way, to hit it to him every time. He's on his knees, but it's all about getting your glove working, catching the in-between hops, catching the ones that are close to you. You can't choose the hop when you're in that position.
Cleveland with 3 infielders on the left side as Encarnacion takes a strike and then rolls his eyes.
He's really had an issue with the strike zone all game long. The last one was down and away. He thought this one was down also. And you can see his point.
Last couple breaking balls are the bigger type variety. He was throwing about 89, 90 on a little cutter slider to Batista, but those 2 right there are more ones that have bite on it and break down at about 85, 84.
First choice 3-2. See where he goes.
Base hit against the shift. Encarnacion aboard with 2 down in the first.
That's really a good piece of hitting, not knowing if you're going to get the cutter or the fastball on the outside corner. He just takes what is given to him. And he doesn't seem like the classic hitter where you would play the shift on. He has the ability to hit the ball over there, ground ball to the right side.
It's really what Toronto did so well in the first game. 2 strike hits off Kluber.
They had Kluber in trouble in the first 3 innings of that game, but could not score. Here's Tulowitzki.
So Bautista hits a bullet up the middle. The shift got him, and the shift gives up the hit to Encarnacion.
I can see shifting Batista.
And Tulowitzki falls behind 0-2. He's 1 for 11 in the series.
Interesting, Cal. A lot of breaking balls so far from Kluber. First 2 starts we've seen him in the postseason, he's really tried to establish his fastball, but he's throwing a lot of breaking balls.
Yeah, it didn't seem like he had a good feel for that fastball to Batista. Started to find the strike zone with his slider. And I still think he's trying to find that release point for that outside fastball.
Whereas Toronto suffered in the middle of their lineup, which you thought was their strength. Their number 4 hitters are 0 for their last 17. Their number 5 hitters are 0 for their last 16.
Blue Jays came in hitting 177 as a team through 3 games. On the ground to third, Ramirez will go the short way, and that'll do it for the Blue Jays in their half of the first. We're scoreless as we head to the second, Game 4. Take a look at today's playmakers, presented by the all-new Chrysler Pacifica. Now, Mike Napoli had said that he felt like he's always like one good swing away from breaking out, and he did in Game 3. Went 2 for 3 after going 2 for 18. Knocked in a couple of runs, hit a long ball. He leads it off in the top half of the second against Aaron Sanchez. And takes a strike 0-1. Mike Napoli considered quitting baseball a couple of seasons ago because of sleep apnea. That's outside. He couldn't get a good night's sleep. And you try to imagine playing a 162 game season without sleeping through the night. They got to the point when he was with the Red Sox, they actually had a sleep area kind of built in there where he could try to get some rest. But they went about a procedure, a surgery in which his jaws were broken and were realigned. And now he's better. He sleeps. And I guess when you look at his numbers, it's proven it out. 34 homers, 101 runs batted in this season. The first time in his career he's gone over 100 in the RBI department. He's given opponents a few sleepless nights. That's upstairs.
Well, it's the numbers are off the charts, but he brings a certain toughness to this ball club that maybe they didn't have before.
He draws a walk to lead off the second.
I don't know if Aaron was overthrowing right there or not, but he missed up a lot. And normally when you go up, it's a 4-seamer, not a 2-seamer. He was missing high with the 2-seamer.
You know, Cal, even though he's at a young age, he has a lot of experience in the postseason as a reliever. In 2014, appeared in 5 games, 4 games in 2015, all in relief. It's always the most difficult inning sometimes for a young pitcher in the postseason. You're so pumped up and the adrenaline is flowing in that first inning. And you go out the second inning, it's like the air has been let out of a balloon.
On the ground, second for 1. First is going to be late.
Yeah, smart play right here. This isn't your classic double play ball. He wanted to make sure he catches it, gets the out at second base, and if you able to get a bonus over there, then you get the double play. But this ball is to his left. A little more time for Ramirez to get down the line, and he's too fast for that. Good, smart defense.
Here's Lonnie Chisenhall.
Keep the double play in order.
Chisenhall had his hitting streak snapped in Game 3, had hit safely in each of the Indians' playoff games. Still hitting .400 for the series and .350 for the postseason.
You know, it's interesting, Cal, is that the rule is to slide, but you also, there's no in the area anymore. And that was a quick move by Tulowitzki off that base at second.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't look at that. He engaged the bag, but cheated it just a little bit to make the turn.
No balls and 2 strikes to Chisenhall.
You show me a young, tall, right-handed starter. I'll show you a guy that has trouble holding runners on. 12 for 14 against him this year in stolen bases. Why? It's the combination of trying to maintain your stuff to the plate, but also holding the runner close. It takes some time.
Ramirez was 22 for 29 in stolen bases as Cleveland led the American League, and Rajay Davis was tops in the AL.
Saw him use a slide step that time. The time before that, he held the ball a little longer. I worry about a slide step with a sinker. Sinker ball, you get your body out there and your arm doesn't get out front. The ball doesn't sink.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Ramirez made one move over there at first, and it caused Sanchez to step off.
Yeah, that was a nice move by the youngster. Just step off. Reboot.
In the air and out of play down the left side.
Well, this should be a good matchup for Chisenhall, not in the sense of having to face Sanchez and his great arsenal of pitches, but he likes the ball down in the strike zone, especially down and in. We saw him against David Price on a not down and in pitch, hit a 3-run home run.
See those career numbers. 2 for 5 with a long ball for Chisenhall. We'll do the 2-2 again. Steal right through call.
One of the most important things to do on the bench is watch early in the game where the umpire is calling strikes. And so far, everything across the bottom of the strike zone has been called a strike by Jim Reynolds. Good backdoor curveball there from Sanchez.
Did you see Russell Martin reach out there farther just so he can catch it before it broke further down? Good frame job.
Here's Coco Crisp.
Does look like a low strike zone, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Ball and a strike. Coco Crisp. The given name is Covelli. It's his grandma who called him Co, and of course his sister took it to the next level after Coco Krispies and went ahead with, let's just call him Coco. Grounded to Tulowitzki, who will take that himself, and that'll do it for the Indians in their half of the second. Scoreless in Toronto. Do not miss the Cubs and Dodgers game 3 of the NLCS tonight at 8 on FS1. Joe Buck, our buddy John Smoltz on the call there. There's Jason Kipnis. He's a Chicago area guy. And you know who lived on his street? Steve Bartman lived on his street. Went to school with his sister. There's nothing more to the story than that. Just thought it was interesting.
That's enough. I don't think there's anything else you have to say after that.
Oh, and 2 to Russell Martin.
Martin's got 2 home runs in his last 10 ABs versus Kluber. But one thing I'll say about Russell Martin in the post so far, he's had an awfully big swing, almost like he's swinging for the downs every single time.
He's 2 for 27 in this postseason with 12 strikeouts. 1 for 11 in this series. He leads it off for Toronto here in the bottom half of the second. Game 4, scoreless. Missed inside, and the count is even.
You know, it's always important to score first, you know, trying to win, but I think that particularly it's important for the Blue Jays is to get out with a lead. There's not any great way to go say, let's go score a run first. It'll help them relax on offense.
Seen that movie before. Russell Martin goes down swinging for out number 1.
Yeah, he had a real long swing and a breaking ball. And this was just a fastball that got by him. Looked like he was thinking in the back of his mind, breaking ball, trying to react to the fastball here, just too late.
Cleveland hasn't trailed in the last 52 innings.
Yeah, you have to go all the way back to Game 1 of the ALDS against Boston when they were down 2-1 heading to the bottom of the 3rd. And then they hit 3 solo homers. Haven't trailed since.
Hernandez, Kipnis, Lindor.
Here's a guy who homered last night for Toronto to break their drought in this series. Michael Saunders. He grounds this one wide of first. Saunders went the other way last night for that home run, Cal.
He swung the bat really good last night. Stayed on that ball. Big guy, a lot of power. That cleared the left field fence pretty easy.
And made Jason really very happy. No balls, 2 strikes. Mark Wegner, third base umpire, said he didn't go.
There's a lot of people that believe a black bat is harder for the umpire to see on those check swings.
I know what you'd be using. Line drive, base hit. And Saunders on with 1 out.
Remember in the first game against Kluber in Cleveland, he had 2 hits against Kluber, both on breaking pitches.
That's just some good hitting right there. His body was out in front, but he kept his hands back and still snapped a really hard line drive to left center field.
That brings up Ezekiel Carrera. One thing that John Gibbons did for this Game 4, just did a little flip-flop there at the bottom of the order and dropped Pilar to the 8-hole, moved Carrera up. So 2 hits now allowed by Corey Kluber. 1 in the first, 1 here in the second after he struck out Martin. Saunders singled. And Carrera waiting. Ran up to bunt. Couldn't get it down. 0-2.
Well, it's Carrera's game. We've seen him bunt with 2 strikes in the postseason.
It looked like he wanted to drag that with him. And bunt it towards Kipnis and try to beat the pitcher to the bag.
Saunders with the lead at first as we wait for the 0-2, and the breaker missed. Ball and 2 strikes.
Well, pitchers come in all shapes and sizes, but the demeanor and body language of Corey Kluber is exactly what you'd want out of a starting pitcher. You wouldn't know if he's losing by 2 or winning by 2. Just execution.
On the ground to Kipnis. Second for 1. The relay just late, and Pereira beats it out.
Cal, deja vu all over again with that double play.
Yeah, that's a similar play that Toronto had. But again, make sure you catch that ball, deliver a good, and Lindor does a nice job of staying on the bag right there and trying to complete the double play.
So 2 down now. Carrera at first for Kevin Pillar. Pillar was 0 for 2 against Kluber in the opener. He's 1 for 10 in the series.
Saunders did a nice job here. It's exactly what you have to do in today's game. He slid into Lindor, a little bit of a leg whip, but was able to hold on and maintain second base.
You know, breaking up a double play, you just want to disrupt the double play. Yeah. Sometimes people took it to another level, trying to maim the second baseman with the shortstop.
You're naming any names there, Iron Man?
I think Kurt Gibson used to have football flashbacks when he came in.
Popped up, foul territory. Napoli, and that'll do it for Toronto in the second. It's Game 4 of the American League Championship Series here on TBS. Scoreless as we head to the third. Official caps, t-shirts, hoodies, jackets, and more. Celebrate your favorite team with the latest postseason gear at MLBshop.com. Top half of the third inning of Game 4, and 8-9-1 due for the Cleveland Indians. Tyler Naquin, the rookie center fielder.
Had one of his team's signature moments, didn't he, in that inside the park home run?
Inside the park walk-off.
Walk-off home run.
That ball's well hit to the gap in left center fielder. Naquin has got good speed, and he will make it into second easily with a leadoff double here in the third.
Great approach by Naquin on the fastball away, just went right with it.
And I'll tell you this, that's 2 at-bats in a row. Remember his last at-bat last night, ground rule double, hit right on the nose, and that's the same story. Pretty good looking rook there, Cal.
Yeah, the sinker, I was just watching the replay again. The sinker goes the outside of the plate into the big part of the lefty's bat. As long as he doesn't try to pull it, he's got a good chance to drive that pitch.
See if we have a little situational hitting or bunting by Roberto Perez.
He does square, lays it down. Good bunt. Naquin to third. 1 down.
Yeah, very successful bunt. Didn't angle it to either third or first base side, just deadened it straight to the pitcher.
You know, Roberto had a tough time hitting this year, hitting less than 200, but he had 5 regular season sacrifice bunts. Deadened it right off the end of the bat, like you said, Cal.
And as you saw in that dugout, everybody in the Indians uniform up and congratulating Perez on getting that bunt down. And this less than 24 hours after what was a complete team victory in Game 3. Blue Jays bring the infield in with 1 out, and Santana at the plate. And we talked to Terry Francona this morning, and that's really the way he felt. I don't know if there's a more satisfying win as a manager than one in which everybody on that team pitched in to take Game 3. Cleveland looking for the early advantage here in Game 4.
they got the infield in. And since they hadn't scored a whole lot of runs, it makes sense to try to cut the run off at home plate. Sinker baller on the mound.
Missed again. 3 balls and no strikes.
Well, it's a strange place to be in as a starting pitcher, but when your team has struggled to score runs, you've got 1 out in this inning. You don't give in to Santana. The worst that can happen is you have first and third, Kipnis coming up, and a chance to get out of the inning with a ground ball.
Toward that one. Over the heart. 3-1. Naquin doubled to lead off the inning, the first hit of the afternoon for the Indians. Off of Sanchez. Perez bunted him over to third, and that's where we are. Santana waiting on a 3-1. Hit hard to second. Goins on his knees checked the runner and threw him out. 2 down.
Well, the infield in paid off. Hard sinker on his fist. Couldn't get it in the air. Jones makes sure he catches it. Checks the runner.
So now 2 down for Kipnis.
This is one of those times that getting it out defensively might be able to pump up your offense.
You know you're not out of it yet. Many times you see a pitcher take a big deep breath. He thinks he's got the hitter out of a jam.
It's with the runners in scoring position at a premium for both of these teams through 3 games. Cleveland was 2 for 13. Toronto 1 for 11 coming into this one. Kipnis waits on an 0-1, and that sails high.
Tremendous amount of movement on that pitch from Sanchez. See Martin struggling to catch that. 17 home runs, including the postseason, given up by Aaron Sanchez. 9 of them have come with 2 outs.
Coming back with a curveball here.
And Kipnis was way out in front.
When a hitter swings like that, it's almost like you automatically have to come back with the same pitch.
Sometimes as a hitter, you can count on that too.
That's right. And that wasn't a good one. Or not as good as the one prior.
Well, the other one had good bite down and in. That one kind of stayed out over the plate a little bit. He's got a couple of options. I think he can go in with the sinker, or they're going to come back with a curveball.
Grounded it to the right side, and Goins will throw him out. The Indians waste a leadoff double. Still scoreless. We move to the bottom half of the 3rd inning here in Toronto. Ernie Johnson, Ron Darling, Cal Ripken with you, and we have a special guest here in the bottom half of the 3rd. Josh Tomlin of the Cleveland Indians, 2-0 in this postseason. Josh, thanks a lot for taking a couple of minutes with us.
No problem, fellas. Thanks for having me.
Hey, look, you've done something in this series that you didn't expect to do. You were supposed to pitch Game 3 here. You were moved up to pitch Game 2 as we watch Trevor Bauer doing something he's never done, pitching on short rest. What's the challenge? What was the challenge for you to prepare for Game 2 rather than Game 3?
There really wasn't a challenge. We tried to get prepared throughout the course of the week, regardless of when we were going to pitch. But finding out that TB had cut his hand, it was just Mickey. I found out, I woke up that I think it was Thursday morning and found out that TB had cut his hand, and Mickey had said I was going to pitch tomorrow. So I got to the ballpark, talked to him about it, and I was excited about going. It's just one of those things you prepare yourself for the week in case something like that happens.
Hey, Josh, part of the perils of being a starting pitcher is occasionally you lose your way. And you had a tough August, but boy, your September and October have been unbelievable. What did you work on and what did you change?
I think for me it's all about executing the pitches and the pitch selection I was going with for the most part. I was getting kind of dominant to one side of the plate, opposite arm side, trying to cut and throw four-seamers to outside the righties. I think my split was pretty obvious on that. Whenever you look at the right-handed hitters compared to left-handed hitters, I was able to get the ball in on lefties a lot better. And then they were just kind of eliminating one side of the plate. If I went in, it was for show. And then it was, I never really pitched in there, wore through in there. It was just kind of for show, then went back away. So hitters were just kind of, sitting out on the plate against me and able to do some damage. So for me, it was just getting back to executing pitches, getting back to doing what I'm capable of doing, and mix and match and try to keep them off balance.
One down as Ryan Goins strikes out. Cal, you got something for Josh?
Yeah, I was admiring your curveball the other day, and they're having trouble. And I was wondering if you pitched against the Blue Jays enough to know which ones will pull it over in this camera well where I'm sitting right now.
I think if you hang it to any of them, they can do that. That team, if you make a mistake to them, they can do some damage on you in a hurry.
So what do you do when you're trying to find your curveball?
For me, it's just trying to rip it down in the zone as much as I can, as hard as I can. If you try to start filling out the zone with it, you kind of get lazy with it. You don't have the same arm action as the fastball, and it kind of tends to hang or back up on you a little bit. So, and I think the more you throw it throughout the course of the game, you kind of find that slot, you find that release point, you find that grip that you like, and you can kind of settle in with it a little bit. And but for me, it was just trying to. I knew I had to establish a curveball, throw it for a strike, throw it for a ball. So it was try to keep the arm speed and the slot how I wanted it, and just try to make it look as much like my four-seamer as I could, and try to get to the bottom of the zone so they couldn't do any damage.
Josh, last night when Bauer leaves the game, and then Terry Francona's kind of saying, okay, how am I going to piece this together? Take me through the conversation you had with Tito and what he had to say to you.
I just told him, I said, hey T, I know Kluber's going to go on short rest tomorrow. I said, I'm willing to go down the bullpen and help us out, especially if you have to use a lot of those guys tonight and they get pretty taxed. I said, I'm willing to go down there and, I have his back because I know he's on 3 days rest. And he said, we'll see how this game goes. And if we need you down there, today was my side day, so if we need you down there, maybe throw an in-game bullpen or just wait till after the game to throw it. And, but he decided against that, so now I try to go prepare for Game 6.
So, Josh, I'm going to try to get you away from the seed throwers. One last question. We're watching you. We know you have something special going on in that clubhouse. Can you express it to us what you got going?
It's hard to explain, man. To me, you have 25 athletes that just love playing the game, and they love being around each other and love competing with each other. And, when you get a group of guys like that that fit well in the clubhouse together and love being around each other, it makes for a pretty good team. And I think that's what we have. We have a true team. Everybody's willing to do whatever it takes to try to win today, and we'll worry about tomorrow.
And I know that Ron said that was the last question, but this is actually the last question, because I know you grew up playing catch with your dad, Jerry. That's how you developed your pinpoint control, and I know he's been a little under the weather here recently. Any message to him?
I love you, Dad, and keep fighting. And I appreciate everything you've ever done for me. It's meant a lot to me, and thank you for allowing me to chase my dream.
Hey, thanks a lot, Josh, for spending some time with us. And good luck to you and to your dad as well.
I appreciate that. Thanks, fellas.
You got it. A ball and a strike to Josh Donaldson. And waved at it. A ball and 2 strikes. How can you not like Josh Tomlin?
He kind of belies when you think of a pitcher. He's like a gamer, everyday player kind of attitude. Still getting pelted with seeds.
He's got to say, hey, look, the headset's off. Lay off. Now he's trying to get him out of the hoodie. 2 balls and 2 strikes as we play in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. A couple of strikeouts in this inning for Corey Kluber, as Donaldson waits on a 2-2.
Cal, they're going to have to make some kind of adjustment on the breaking ball, because that's what they're going to see. As long as Kluber's in this game, it's going to be a steady diet of curveballs.
Well, Donaldson's the one hitter that has gone the other way, gone up the middle, takes some pretty good swings at him. But his slider and his curveball, he seems to have that tonight. And you're right, you're going to have to lean out there and try to catch it.
Well hit. Deep left. Back toward that wall and gone. Josh Donaldson has given Toronto the lead.
It's been the Blue Jays' best postseason hitter this year.
His first home run of this postseason. And for the first time in 53 innings, Cleveland Indians trail. Encarnacion was trying to hit it twice as far as Donaldson did.
Well, you talked about it before, Cal. Toronto didn't know how, but they needed to get a lead somehow, some way.
He's been swinging the bat so well in the postseason. He's lined out a few times, too.
I was going to say, Cal, he's come to the plate in a couple of big situations. Coco Crisp made a great play on him last night. 1-2 to Encarnacion. So Goins and Bautista struck out to start the inning. Donaldson went yard. Well hit the other way. Back deep to right. Back toward the wall, and Chisenhall there to haul it in. For the first time this series, Toronto's got the lead. It's 1-0. Two guys who were happy. Josh Donaldson for launching that home run, and well, 2 out of the 3 are happy.
That's right. The little fella's not doing so well.
No, he's not thrilled. Donaldson hit one out in the bottom of the 3rd to make it a 1-0 game, and now Sanchez goes back to work, and Lindor grounds to second. Follow Bleacher Report on Instagram and get the coolest sports content before anybody else. Join millions of others and follow Bleacher Report on Instagram now. Do as Ron Darling does. He's got the iPad out and it's on Bleacher Report.
This is important for you. #1 story, Operation Stop the Warriors.
They've got you covered on every sport and got that team stream on there so you can follow your favorites. Here's Mike Napoli.
Have you guys got a lot of 4-3s on your scorecard?
I was just going to say the same thing. That's 3 in a row, and well, actually 4 chances for him today as we play here in the 4th for Ryan Goins.
I got 4 4-3s and a 4-6.
Yeah, fielder's choice.
You've been cheating off my paper.
That's a good sign, though, for Aaron.
Napoli checks his swing.
A big shutdown inning here for Aaron Sanchez. See his ERA and innings after Blue Jays score. That's why he was 15-2 this year.
We talked about Russell Martin getting to the postseason almost every year. Napoli, the same deal, 8 out of the last 10 years for various teams. He goes down swinging for out number 2 here in the 4th.
He just gets right outside that breaking ball, and boy, just does not stop breaking. Big break in it.
Cal, how did you attack the curveball? Somebody has a really good one.
In my day, probably Bert Blyleven might have had the best curveball. And you would just have to me, it was a matter of waiting and convincing yourself of the break. Ones that break really sharp and straight down and they don't go up first are much more difficult to hit. The ones that go up a little bit, you can kind of track it a little bit better.
Let's keep it in Toronto. How about Dave Steve? Is he tough?
Dave Steve had just a great arm, period, and probably the best slider ever. And he threw a lot of them, too. And I think he had an overhand hook that he used early, but that slider was just so good for him that I think he stopped using the hook.
Ball and a strike to Jose Ramirez.
Every once in a while you'll see Aaron Sanchez kind of overthrow a little bit. That's so natural. It happens for young pitchers. Listen, he wants to be at some point Corey Kluber.
In the air to left, near the line, Carrera, and that is a 1-2-3 shutdown inning for Aaron Sanchez. We head to the bottom of the 4th in Toronto. If we need a Game 5, it'll be tomorrow afternoon here in Toronto. If we need a Game 6, it will be Friday. If we need a Game 7, it'll be Saturday. But we are in Game 4, and it's 1-0. Blue Jays leading, and they come to the plate with Troy Tulowitzki leading off, to be followed by Russell Martin and Michael Saunders against Corey Kluber. Kluber's given up a hit in each inning. Single to Encarnacion in the first, single to Saunders in the second, home run to Donaldson in the third, all with 2 strikes. So 9 times in this series has Kluber given up 2-strike hits.
Which is out of nature for Kluber. He is a guy that when he gets ahead of you, he usually puts you away. He's had some huge strikeout games. His high last year of 18 over 8 innings in May of last year against St. Louis.
His high this year is 11. He's had double digits 3 times, but he walks Tulowitzki to lead off the 4th.
With Martin not swinging real well, I'd love a hit and run right here. Force him to shorten his swing a little bit, put it in play. He's got good back control.
Struck out his first time, 13th time in this postseason.
There's third base coach Luis Rivera with signs.
Didn't look like a hit and run sign to me.
Yeah, that was pretty quick and not a lot of signs.
When you look at the reaction to the runner, him looking at the first base coach, doesn't seem like anything's on.
The plate jumping for Corey Kluber here in the 4th. 2-0.
You know, in our strike zone right there, it had it at the bottom of the strike zone. Low pitch was being called early. Now that's 6 in a row right there.
Well, Francisco Lindor is just going to go in, and Perez is going to come out, talk to Kluber.
I think we've learned so far that Kluber is a pretty cool customer. Mickey Callaway on the phone. But you know, on 3 days rest, Terry Francona's got to think about pitch counts, how long he goes with Kluber.
Hasn't thrown a strike yet here in the fourth. There's one, 3-1. Like Mike Clevenger was getting up in the Cleveland bullpen. There he is.
It's not only pitches and numbers, it's pitches under duress also.
3 balls, 1 strike. Tulowitzki with a lead at first. And the count full.
Looked like he was taken all the way on that pitch. Now do you start the runner? I'd like it.
He struck out 13 times in his postseason. Tough. But I think you're right, Cal, in this way. You got to lead. Why not try to get aggressive? Your first lead.
I mean, maybe, just maybe, if you put the that he's running on, and Martin sees it, and he'll shorten up a little bit.
Not going. Tapped foul. Kluber has allowed 3 hits. He has struck out 3. He has walked 1, and that's the guy at first, Troy Tulowitzki.
64th pitch coming up here for Kluber. We're in the 4th.
Now they're going to drop a breaking ball on him after those couple fastballs.
Tried to check his swing. Ball 4. Mike Everett said he didn't go, and they're at first and second. Back-to-back walks to open the 4th.
Looks like he held that. His wrists were pretty firm. A lot of body action. A lot of check swings from Russell Martin in this series.
Well, if it's not Josh Donaldson, maybe it's Michael Saunders that you want up in a key situation. He's had some good at-bats.
Toronto trying to put a crooked number on the board. Cleveland hasn't allowed one of those in the postseason. That ball is belted to right, but yanked foul.
In the upper tank.
in the tallest tank in the place. There are no other tanks here.
Second deck, third deck, fourth deck. That's way up there.
Remember, if you just joined us, Corey Kluber pitching on 3 days rest.
First time ever in his career.
Right at the top of the strike zone.
It's the pitch you usually don't get called. Why? Because the target was inside, the pitch ended up and outside, and the catcher had to move a lot for it. You don't usually get that call.
Saunders singled up the middle his first time. He's behind in the count, 0-2. And he struck him out for out number 1.
Yeah, the ball had a lot of run on that one. The other one too, where it went from the inside part all the way to the outside corner.
Well, they started with a little cutter inside, and then after that said, forget about the cutter. Going back to the two-seamer that runs away, and 2 pitches later he had the strikeout.
Here's Carrera, who reached on a fielder's choice his first time on a ground ball to Kipnis at second. Tulowitzki at second, Martin at first. Blooper behind short. That ball is going to fall for a hit. The throw to the plate will be late, and it's 2-0 Toronto.
Yeah, a little blooper right here. And Tulowitzki is all over the read. He knows it's going to drop. He takes off and scores. You get a chance to look at both runners right here. Tulowitzki sees it, takes off running. Russell Martin, if he had a chance to read that, might have had a chance to go to third. But great base running by Tulo.
Mickey Callaway is the Indians' pitching coach, and he's made his way to the mound.
It was a much easier read for Tulo than Martin. He's right there in the middle of the infield. He turned around, got a look at it, and knew it was falling in.
You know, Cal, is it easier if you play that position of shortstop so that when you see that ball go over the shortstop's head, you know that you wouldn't be able to make it?
Yeah, I'd like to say yes, that you've seen a lot of those balls coming from that direction. But I think the easiest thing is to know where the outfielder is playing and know where the infield's playing before it's hit. And then once you see it, then you can judge the actual hit and also be certain that the outfielders aren't going to catch it.
Largest deficit of this postseason for the Indians. Down by 2. And here's Pilar. Carrera's first run batted in of this series has made it 2-0.
So you say to yourself on 3 days rest for the first time, you know, what's wrong with Kluber? I don't see anything wrong with his stuff. I think his stuff is good. He's allowed a couple of walks. That's what's hurt him in this inning.
He lost his control for just a minute. And then a bloop single.
And then the strikeout of Pilar for out number 2.
Well, John Gibbons described it to us once. He said that Corey Kluber, anytime he wants it, he's got that slider in his back pocket. And he used it there.
That brings up the number 9 hitter, Ryan Goins, who struck out his first time. Did pick up an RBI in Game 3 on an infield groundout.
Well, to add to their woes, and the reason that before this game they had only scored 3 runs in 3 games, Toronto's won for their last 28 with 2 outs and men on base.
Martin and Carrera, your runners, and here's the pitch, fouled straight back.
It's an awful good weapon to have in the postseason if you can get out of a jam by striking hitters out. Kluber has that ability. Got 2 big strikeouts here. 1 out of getting out of any further damage.
Ball and a strike. Goins waiting on Kluber.
94, that's the highest reading I've seen. Reached back for a little extra. Hit his spot.
Only one ball put in play in this inning. That was the single by Carrera. A couple of walks, couple of strikeouts. Blue Jays have added to their lead. It's 2-0. Well, at the end of Game 3 of this series last night, this place was quiet as a church on Tuesday, and now they've gotten their spirit back. They've gotten a lead in the series, and they're trying to do the improbable, if not the impossible. Start the road back from a 3-0 deficit.
So they just changed the sequence of signs right there.
Kipnis went back to Lindor to let him know which sign it would be.
You got Russell Martin, who is a catcher and knows all the different sequences. He's been out there for a little while. So they decided to go out there and change the sequence.
And he struck him out to end the inning. But Toronto gets a couple of walks. One of those guys scores. It's 2-0.
This 2016 ALCS telecast on TBS is brought to you by the Lincoln Motor Company and the exhilarating new Lincoln MKZ, and by Navy Federal, proudly serving the armed forces and their families for over 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
Top half of the 5th inning. Of course, the hotel that overlooks the playing field here out there in center field. So we want to call a game from there one time in the regular season.
I'm with you, Ernst. Absolutely.
So I'll be in the booth. You guys be up there?
Yeah. You be wherever you want. We'll get some room service in there. It'd be awesome. Two balls and no strikes to Lonnie Chisenhall, who leads it off in the 5th. Caught looking his first time in the 2nd. Aaron Sanchez has only allowed 1 hit. That was a leadoff double by Tyler Naquin in the 3rd. He moved to 3rd on a sacrifice bunt, but the Indians stranded him there.
'94 with some sink right on the outside corner.
Yeah, in the postseason, opposition against Sanchez with 2 strikes, or 0 for 15.
Lined foul. Just wide of first. Boy, that was a bullet.
You're really messing with danger with Chisenhall if you try to pitch him down and in. Mike Everett, first base umpire, ready for Dancing with the Stars. Nice move. There he is.
'89, is that a changeup?
I think it is, yes. From the '94 that he has been throwing.
That'll be the first one I've seen.
Got the fastball away. He hit it that way. And Donaldson got him by a step. So this was the trouble in the previous inning as Naquin led off. But then Ryan Goins made that play and this play and kept the Indians off the board.
Again, another ground ball out, which is a great sign for Sanchez.
Here's Crisp. Coco's going to be 37 on November 1st. And he can still get it done, Iron Man.
Yeah, he's been really big in the playoffs. Got some good composure, contributed in many ways, executed bunts, hit a home run, stole a base.
He's going to start it early here. He thinks he's going to get a fastball 2-0, which he should.
And missed outside, 3-0. Sanchez has only walked one. That was Napoli to lead off the second. And now he walks Crisp on 4 pitches with 1 out.
That was one of those concentration walks, and what I mean by that is you kind of just lose your concentration for 30 seconds. Next thing you know, you're 2-0 and fighting uphill to make sure you throw a strike, and sometimes you can't.
Can't picture you losing concentration.
Well,
it happens
all the time up here.
Here's Naquin.
Remember, Coco Crisp can run. Naquin's got good speed. Cleveland will stay aggressive.
There's a strike 0-1. The Orioles drafted Tyler Naquin in 2009 in the 33rd round, but he didn't sign. Went to Texas A&M, where he was the player of the year in the conference, and became a first-round pick in 2012 by the Indians.
That was a nice job by Russell Martin. In this series, he's had a couple that have scurried away from him, but have allowed the Indians to move up a base. Not that time.
Crisp with a lead at first. Naquin waits on Sanchez, and here it comes. Just did get enough.
Good breaking ball away. And the skinniest tick of the bat.
No balls, 2 strikes. And in. 1-2.
There's that high fastball again. A purpose pitch. Maybe to set up a breaking ball. And after Naquin hit that first fastball for a double left center field, more than likely he'll get another chance at a breaking ball here. Here it comes.
Ball bounces away. That's strike 3. And Crisp trots down to second. Let's go to Sam.
Well, Ernie, you're talking about Aaron Sanchez making the start on 8 days rest, extra rest. He said this is nothing new to him. He's done that all year, given the opportunity to pitch on 6, sometimes 10 days rest, something he's had to deal with all year. So he feels really ready and prepared. A lot of pitchers don't like it, but he's had the luxury of doing it all year. He said the key for him, just keeping his emotions in check, keeping the excitement under control, which, as you see, he's been able to do so, guys.
Remember, he started as a reliever here. They wanted to work him into the rotation. He threw a little over 90 innings last year. They moved him up all the way to over 190 this year. They went to a 6-man rotation, all for that to accommodate Sanchez.
Indians now with a runner in scoring position for the second time in the last 3 innings for Roberto Perez, the number 9 hitter.
I always thought guys that had good power arms, especially sinker guys, you know, they could go a few more days off because the fresher they were, the more the ball seemed to move and they could aim for the middle of the plate. So control wasn't really as much of an issue for them. They got people out on pure stuff.
No one steals third base more than the Indians. Sorry, Cal, I jumped in there because Coco was looking very runnerish. I know that's not a word, but
runnerish, describing what he looks like when he's halfway between second and third. With Sanchez at the belt. That's down low.
29 times they've stolen third base this season, have the Indians.
And you really don't want to worry about it a whole lot, where you have to, like you see Ryan coming up the second baseman to hold him on. You're giving up some of your position right now. And you want to cover as much ground as you can left or right so the base hit doesn't go in to score the run from second.
Missed outside, 2-1.
But if you do get to third, there's a whole lot more ways you can score. On the wild pitch, on someone's error. Infield single.
Well hit left center field. That ball is off the wall. Perez around first and sliding into second safely and putting the Cleveland Indians on the board. Huge 2-out hit out of the 9-hole.
Looks like he just gets up on top of a sinker that didn't sink. Ball up in the strike zone, and he hammers it.
And this ball came right off the wall, so if it wasn't for the wild pitch and the ability of Coco Crisp to move up to second base, he might not have scored on that ball.
I thought they had a play at second base too.
Now Perez had to turn it on to get in there with a slide, and the Indians on the board. Now it's a 2-1 game. Top half of the 5th. The tying run now at second for Carlos Santana in the top of the order. Perez only had 1 RBI in this postseason. That was on his first postseason home run. Came against the Red Sox, and he picked a great time from the Cleveland viewpoint to deliver again. Here's Carrera's throw to second.
Said both Carrera and Bautista have outstanding arms.
Santana's 0 for 2. Struck out, grounded out. He hits with 2 outs here in the 5th and takes blowing away 2-1. .23 pitches in the inning for the Toronto right-hander Aaron Sanchez.
You know, even though Santana in his career doesn't have a hit against Sanchez, once Perez got the count in his favor, 2-1, he almost had to go after him because you don't want to flip the lineup over. And that's why he got a fastball to hit.
Sarbaugh reminding Perez, 2 outs, 2 strikes. He's going on the swing.
Rounded left side, diving stop by Donaldson, who guns him down. What a play by last year's MVP. This kept Toronto on top. We head to the bottom of the 5th. Mark your calendars. It's easy to remember the month. NCAA March Madness returns to TBS, CBS, TNT, and True TV in March 14th to be exact. Bottom half of the 5th, top of the order for Toronto, and Jose Bautista. And he takes a strike from Corey Kluber. His play's still buzzing from that play Donaldson made, and he's due up second in the inning. Out in front, 0-2. Bautista 0 for 2 on the day. And now 1 for 11 in the series. And has been a strikeout victim 7 times. Kluber with the 0-2. Clevenger on your right, up again. Dan Otero, who worked last night. Part of that combined effort by the pen. Fly ball, left field. Didn't get nearly enough. 1 down. Here's a StatCast powered by Amazon Web Services on Josh Donaldson. Cutting that thing at 79 miles an hour. After making the diving stop. And you love just the unbridled enthusiasm. Guy has it all the time.
You could picture him picking that at the age of 10 and having the same kind of reaction.
I love the reaction when he just threw the ball out of his hand and he knew he was out.
Remember Donaldson at the end of the year, he was featuring those wrestling white cleats, and he's gone now to the all blue.
Remember John, we asked John Gibbons about it. He called him Johnny High School. Ball and a strike.
After hitting the breaking ball out, I think he was hunting the fastball. Got a 1-0 slider. Here comes the fastball in.
That was the shot in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. It gave Toronto its first lead of this series.
I think we tend to forget sometimes that Donaldson is not a big man, but he has big power.
He knows his strike zone too. Comes a slider again.
3-2. Made his big league debut in 2010. He was with Oakland. Hit his first home run in this ballpark. And in that game, he was Oakland's catcher. And there is strike 3 call. 2 down.
He had battled so hard that at bat, was thinking breaking pitch. He got the express, so he just dropped his bat.
That was fun to watch the pitch selection there. Roberto Perez didn't hesitate to call a fastball on the outside part. Corey Kluber was exactly on the same page and froze him.
He dropped the mic. Here's Encarnacion.
Here Eddie mouths, wow, that ball's not a strike.
Kluber, the expression hasn't changed all day. No balls and 2 strikes.
Camera up top, it looked closer than it did on our strike zone.
Up the middle, but that is exactly where they had him played. And Jason Kipnis gloved it for out number 3. 1-2-3 inning for Kluber. We head to the 6th. E-League is back starting this Friday, October 21st. Catch the best in esports with E-League Season 2 on TBS every Friday. They love E-League, and they obviously love the Indians at Buffalo Wild Wings in downtown Cleveland, where we've got a camera today. We are in Toronto for Game 4, and the Blue Jays lead it 2-1. Zipping right along as we hit the 6th.
Big inning here for Sanchez. 3rd time through the lineup.
He looks a lot like the pitcher on Sunday that we had at the end of the year. Ball's down in the strike zone, a little late sink.
Two balls and no strikes to Jason Kipnis, who has struck out and grounded out. He homered in Game 3. In the air behind 3rd. Donaldson, long run. He is squeezing it for out number 1. He's all over the place.
He knew if he got to it, he was going to catch it. This is a hard angle for a third baseman. This is where you want the shortstop to call you off, but you know he can't get there. Ball is breaking back towards left field.
Here's Lindor, who was grounded out the second twice.
You know, we've made such a big deal. As Brett Cecil gets up for the Toronto Blue Jays, we made such a big deal about the Blue Jays' inability to hit before this game in the first 3 games of the series. It's not like Cleveland has been lighting it up either offensively.
Two balls, no strikes to Lindor. And that missed again.
9 runs by the Tribe here in the 4th game.
They came in through 3 games, hitting 193. They had outscored Toronto 8-3. Hits were even at 17. A 2-0 and a 2-1 game in Cleveland. 4-2 in Game 3. 2-1 here in Game 4. Toronto with the lead. That's hit well to center. Pilar is back and makes the play. On the button by Lindor. 2 down. So you look at the numbers comparing his start against Texas in the ALDS with today. And this has been, to Cal's point, the guy we saw last weekend of the regular season as Toronto was securing home field for the wild card.
Yeah, he gave up a couple of home runs in Texas. That was the big difference.
He's fallen behind the first 2 hitters in this inning 2-0. This is the one hitter you don't want to fall behind.
Mike Napoli waiting.
Had a pretty healthy swing at that curveball.
Oh, that was the pitch. 1-1.
It might make me think he was looking for that, but being out in front and pulling it foul like that, I think he was still geared for the fastball.
Two and two. $50,000 want to come back tomorrow. That is 8 miles high. 1-2-3 inning for Aaron Sanchez. We head to the bottom of the 6th.
Card members, now through December 31st, there's a big reason for you to shop small across America. Learn more and enroll your eligible card today at americanexpress.com/shop small offer. Terms apply.
Corey Kluber's day is done. He went 5 innings, and Dan Otero takes over here in the bottom half of the 6th. Tulowitzki, Martin, and Saunders do for Toronto.
Otero cleared in 62 games this year, pitched 70 innings, 10 walks. Did not walk first batter faced this season.
He appeared in 1 game on the Boston series and appeared last night in Game 3 in that patchwork bullpen job that was orchestrated by Terry Francona.
Interesting that he's coming in here. No one else warming up in the Cleveland bullpen. He'll face Tulowitzki, Russell Martin, and Michael Saunders, who hit a home run off him in last night's game.
Tulowitzki goes the other way to right. That is going to be high off the wall, and Tulowitzki is going to be held to a long, loud single. Chisenhall played that carom, hustled it in, and it's a single to start the 6th.
This ball is drilled to right field. Misses a home run by about a foot. Way fastball, drives it the other way. Oh, maybe by 2 inches.
Nice play by Chisenhall.
Here's Russell Martin. Takes inside 1-0. Martin struck out in the 2nd, walked in the 4th.
Well, he'll be swinging away here. Otero got 11 double play balls this year in his 70+ innings of work.
Count even, a ball and a strike.
The ball looked a little bit in to me.
And Otero ahead. A ball and 2 strikes.
Otero's got that little 3/4 style of throwing that just has that little late sink on his fastball.
Mike Clevenger, who when he does enter a postseason game, it'll be for the first time. Loosening again. Tap toward 3rd. Ramirez. There's 1. And the relay to 1st, but Napoli had come off the bag.
It was almost like Napoli decided there's no way we're going to make the play. I'm going to come off the bag to make sure I'll block it if it's not a good throw.
Yeah, it was way too slow for the double play.
Just didn't look good.
Looked like he stayed on the bag long enough, right?
I think he was completely off it by the time he caught it.
Yeah, he was completely off. Would have been bang bang at first with Martin running. That was a couple hopper to third. Bottom line, 1 out, 1 on. And here's Saunders, who took him deep last night.
And it's about a foot in front of the base.
You think that would hold up on replay?
Yeah, I think so.
Take a look. They got an extra one. The pitch that he hit over the left field wall yesterday was a sinking fastball that didn't sink. That was up and away.
Saunders 1 for 2 today, singled in the second, struck out in the fourth. Russell Martin is your runner at first in a 2-1 game. Right up the middle, base hit. They're at first and second with 1 down, just out of the reach of Lindor. Boy, Michael Saunders put some good wood on some baseballs in this series.
He tries to go fastball in. Ball drifts out, but he pulls his hands in nicely, gets the barrel to the ball, drives it back up through the middle.
Well, the Blue Jays would love to get some add-on runs here, but the onus has been on Terry Francona and how he uses his bullpen the last 3 days or last 3 games. Now it's on John Gibbons.
Here's Ezekiel Carrera, who has knocked in a run and takes 1-0. That RBI single came in the fourth after Kluber had walked Tulowitzki and Martin to open the inning. Two and 0. See Brad Mills, bench coach for Terry Francona, closest of friends through the years, positioning the defense. Well hit to right. Chisenhall goes back, and he flags it down. Great catch on the warning track. Boy, Carrera got a hold of that.
Hard line drive, might be sinking a little bit. Chisenthal runs back, makes a great running catch on the warning track. Times it perfectly.
How about the 2 plays he's made in this inning? The ball off the wall to keep Tulowitzki at first, where he was forced at second base, and now that run-scoring play.
So it's still a 1-run game. But now 2 outs here in the 6th. And Kevin Pillar steps in.
If that ball would have got over his head, you would have had 2 runners on top of each other. Saunders was all the way down to second.
And Russell was kind of lost at second base, wasn't he?
Yeah, he didn't go back to tag up, but you can't afford with 1 out. You got to go halfway, and you got to be able to score if that ball gets over his head. If you go back to tag up and comes off the wall, you're not scoring on that ball. So with 1 out, maybe with no outs, you take a chance to go back and tag up. But right here, you see he's reading it. He's reading it. You would have had 2 runners very close to each other running around. With no outs, you want to go back and tag up and get the third. But with 1 out, you got to be at least halfway just in case it gets over his head.
Pillar takes a strike. It's 0-2. He fouled out to first in the second, struck out in the fourth.
Toronto looking for that breakout hit. 1 for their last 29 with 2 out and men on base.
would not chase that one. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
Hadn't been a whole lot of hitting, but there's been a lot of great defense played by both teams in this series.
Otero steps off before the 1-2 can be made, and now we're ready to go. Pilar. Waiting on the Cleveland reliever. Rounded to short. Lindor throws him out for out number 3. Blue Jays threaten but do not score. Still a 1-run game through 6. Fans always stay connected to the game they love. Show us how you're baseball's #1 fan by using #UnlimitedBaseball for a free MLB Shop gift code and other epic prizes. Well, we move to the 7th inning, and we move to the Toronto bullpen. Brett Cecil on in relief of Aaron Sanchez, and you couldn't ask for much more than what Sanchez gave you through 6.
Although I would have asked for more from Aaron Sanchez. He was pitching that well. A couple of hits through his 6 innings of work, but Cecil's in. The smallest of sample sizes. 1 for 2. Ramirez off Cecil with a home run.
Ramirez 0 for 2 today. Reached on a fielder's choice. Fly to left.
And the reason I say that is that Corey Kluber was taken out because you envision if you have to go Game 7, he'll be rested, or as rested as he could be on 3 days rest. There's no 3 days rest for anything for Toronto. Toronto has to win today somehow, some way.
Yeah, Cleveland has the luxury.
1 down. Go ahead, Cal.
Because they have the lead 3-0, they have the luxury of pulling him out. They're still in the ball game. They still want to push a run across. Toronto's back's against the wall.
StatCast powered by Amazon Web Services. Here was Lonnie Chisenhall's catch in the bottom half of the previous inning. Kept this a 1-run game.
Can't take a better angle than that.
Rajay Davis will pinch hit for Chisenhall against the lefty Brett Cecil.
Maybe a little surprising because Chisenhall's done a great job against left-handed pitching. But Rajay Davis gives him a little more speed if he's able to get on. He might be able to steal a run.
Davis has played in 6 games in this postseason with 2 starts. Looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 10. He does have an RBI on a sacrifice fly. He's quickly behind in the count against Cecil. 0-2. He tied him up, struck him out for out number 2. Aaron Sanchez, 6 innings of 2-hit ball, allowing just 1 run.
You know, in John Gibbons' defense, I said it before, they spent all season long trying to limit his innings, going to a 6-man rotation. Watch how many pitches he threw. You know, he's in the postseason now, so some of these decisions are not only made by the manager, but by management.
Crisp, the switch hitter, turns around and bats right-handed against the lefty Cecil, who's in his 5th game of this postseason, hasn't allowed a run yet. Came in with 2 innings pitched in those 4 appearances. And he's trying to retire Cleveland 1-2-3 here in the top of the 7th. Brian Shaw, the mainstay of that Cleveland bullpen, loosening. Cecil with a fist pump strikes out 2 out of 3. And the Indians go quietly in the 7th. Don't miss the Cubs and Dodgers Game 3 of the NLCS tonight, 8 o'clock on FS1. Game 4 of the ALCS. We head to the bottom half of the 7th. Brian Shaw is on and throws one past Ryan Goins. 75 games in the regular season.
Yeah, I want to call him Brian every day, Shaw. I mean, Terry Francona was addressing Brian this morning, and he was saying that the more he pitches, the better he pitches.
This is their 7th postseason game, his 6th appearance. Rajay Davis now in center field, and Tyler Naquin moves from center to right. Lonnie Chisenhall out as Davis pinch hit for him in the previous inning.
Well, Chisenhall might have kept them in this game with the 2 outstanding plays he made last inning. Naquin now moved over there, only played 21 innings this regular season out there in right field.
Goins to be followed by Bautista at the top of the order, and then Josh Donaldson. John Gibbons watches Goins slap one into left. Leadoff single.
Looked like an outside cutter. He just stays on and rifles it to left field.
Well, Jose Bautista, second game leading off. When Toronto has faced elimination, he has 4 home runs and 9 RBIs.
So you're not really looking for the bunt here, right?
No bunt here, Cal.
Takes outside 1-0. He thought about it. It's 1-1.
That's amazing that that cutter is 95 miles an hour.
There hasn't been a run scored from the 7th inning on in this series. Toronto trying to change all that and pad the lead here in the bottom half of the 7th.
It's interesting, Cal. Perez just puts down fastball away. It's almost like Shaw just has a natural cutting action on his fastball.
Two balls, 1 strike. Here it comes. Tapped up toward third. Shaw, bare hand, throws it away. Goins is around third. He will hold up there. They're at the corners with nobody out.
This is a tough play. It's a full swing bunt. He gets over pretty good, bare hands it, but then throws off his back leg and just airmails it down the line. Naquin over there doing a nice job of backing up.
We talked about the defense in this series. There's been an error on each side, both by the pitchers. Jay Happ for the Toronto Blue Jays, and now Shaw for the Cleveland Indians.
Here's the art of performance presented by Jaguar. Career extra base hits, Josh Donaldson. The most in Toronto postseason history. Tied. And right now, Mickey Callaway, Indians pitching coach, on his way to have a conversation with the entire Cleveland infield.
There's a couple things going on. Maybe just deciding how he wants to pitch Donaldson, period. But I think more than likely, the infield's going to play halfway or maybe in, try to stop the run from scoring, and still maybe get a force out at second base to try to keep the double play in order. This late stage of the game, you can't really afford to give up that run. Although Lindor is walking all the way back. Kipnis is all the way back. Yeah. They look like they're conceding. Well, they're putting him on. I'm sorry.
Well, Donaldson has good numbers against Shaw, 4 for 8. But still, this gives them a small chance of trying to get out of this inning without giving up a run. Edwin Encarnacion will have a lot to say about that. This place just woke up.
The free pass to Donaldson. The chance of Eddie ringing out as Edwin Encarnacion comes to the plate.
I gotta say, this feels a little unconventional. Down just 2-1. Loading the bases with no outs. It does produce a force out at home. Looks like Lindor is playing a little bit deeper at short.
Encarnacion has knocked in 7 runs in the postseason, none in this series. He's got a golden opportunity.
And Edwin's really good at driving in the run, and he'll use the big part of the field. Stay on the ball. With this cutter, he's got to stay on it and maybe think right center field.
The numbers that were so gaudy against Texas with runners in scoring position. Nowhere near that in this series. Encarnacion trying to cash in here in the bottom half of the 7th in a 1-run game. Up the middle, base hit. Here comes the throw to the plate. Bautista will score. 2 runs in, out at third, but the lead is now 4-1. Goins would score easily. They threw toward the plate. Throw cut off, and Donaldson was out at third.
Cal, you were right. The big part of the field.
He's good at driving in runs, and he thinks the big part of the field. The base running there was pretty interesting to me. Donaldson tried to go first to third to draw the throw.
Brian Shaw departs in the midst of a big Blue Jay rally. Mike Clevenger will make his postseason debut. Cal, take me through this.
Hey, he's trying to throw the runner out at home. Donaldson just takes off and tries to draw the throw, almost trading a run for an out. Edwin does a nice job of getting back to second base to keep another guy in scoring position, but they wanted those 2 runs desperately.
So Encarnacion is at second. 2 runs are in, 1 out. And Mike Clevenger, with his first postseason pitch of his career. He's 25 years old.
Appeared in 17 games, 10 starts. But in Columbus this year, he was 11-1 in 17 starts. This isn't Columbus.
The 1-0 to Tulowitzki. Ball gets away from Perez all the way back to the screen. And Encarnacion moves up 90 feet.
You know, with that intentional walk, it's almost like you're saying we're going to win or lose the game, you know, in this inning.
I mean, it didn't give you many options. I mean, the options are a guy like Encarnacion who very rarely hits the ball on the ground, or you had to strike him out or pop him up. Neither of those happened.
Clevenger was mentioned as this series began as a possible Game 4 starter. Things all changed because of a drone. Tapped back to the mound. Clevenger looks him back. Throws low to first, but got him.
Throws a bullet to Napoli at first base. He's smiling about it, in fact.
We saw a couple of members of that Cleveland pitching staff get their postseason baptisms in Game 3. Right. Happening here in Game 4 for Clevenger. Trying to keep it a 3-run game with 2 runs in here in the 7th, and here's Russell Martin.
Well, Clevenger throws hard. A lot of arm and leg action towards the plate.
Originally drafted by the Angels in 2011, traded to the Indians in 14. Made his big league debut this season. Martin grounds to third. Throw over. And that'll do it. But not before Toronto pads the lead. They add 2 runs. He didn't walk the parrot, but he'll take it. We welcome you back to Toronto just in time for you to see that John Gibbons has gotten out the hook. Brett Cecil is done after the pinch hitter Brandon Guyer was announced, and so he'll bring in the right-hander Jason Grilli to go righty-righty. Back with the top of the 8th after this.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Top 8 here in Toronto. Game 4. Elimination game for the Blue Jays, but they lead it 4-1. Brandon Guyer had been announced. That prompted the pitching change. Here's Jason Grilli, who delivers up high 1-0.
In the postseason for his career, Jason Grilli, 11 innings pitched, has not given up a run.
Meantime, that 2-run 7th. First time the Indians have given up a crooked number in this postseason. take that back to the regular season, that's a stretch that covered 73 innings. The 2-0 to Encarnacion. Came up with a big hit in the bottom half of the 7th. Makes the 3 unassisted to start the 8th.
Eddie playing way off that line. Made that play look easy. Came up with the Reds as a third baseman.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that. 2-0. I'm thinking he's going to get the head out a little bit. It almost seems like an 0-2 swing to first base.
Here's Roberto Perez, who was knocked in the only Cleveland run in this one. It came in the 5th inning. A double that scored Coco Crisp, who had walked. Grilly's 39 years old, going to be 40 in November. He's been in the playoffs with the Tigers and with the Pirates, with the Angels, and now with the Blue Jays.
Always has pitched with tons of emotion. A little fortunate here with that 4-1 lead now. He can be a little more aggressive when you're behind in the count.
In the air to right center. Kevin Pillar. 2 up and 2 down. Really had Tommy John way back early in his career in 2002, and among the places he has played, he was with the Indians when he had that terrible knee injury in spring training. Part of his rehab there. I mean, that was really difficult, and his father Steve was the guy who took care of him at the house, took him to doctor's appointments, helped him in and out of the shower, you name it. His dad was with him every step of the way. Here he is, ALCS Game 4, trying to get the Indians 1-2-3 in the 8th. Upstairs to Carlos Santana. Indians leadoff hitter. Batting with 2 outs here in the 8th. That is one big glove right there.
I think that's the size glove I took over to third base.
That is 2 big gloves right there. We'll get one of those for Cal down there at his precarious spot near the dugout.
When I went to third base from shortstop for 15 years, I asked them to make the glove a little bit bigger for me.
Yeah.
And it came out, and Jeff Conine nicknamed it humongous. It was so big.
That's beyond humongous right there.
It's hard to turn a double play with that glove.
Popped him up. Will there be room for Russell Martin? No. He put his foot on the railing, hoping that thing would come back a little bit more. It wouldn't. No place for all this noise to go with the roof closed. And it's about to get even louder. The NBA is back on TNT. Tune in on Tuesday, October 25th for the Knicks and the Cavs, followed by the Spurs and the Warriors. Coverage begins at 6 o'clock Eastern, live from Cleveland. Air Canada Center, where the Raptors and the Cavs played in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and a chance to go to the NBA Finals. And here you have Toronto and Cleveland bidding for a spot in the World Series. Michael Saunders leads it off against Clevenger. Ball and a strike.
Saunders had a good game with a couple of hits. Tyler Nake went out. Brandon Geyer in right field.
One ball and 2 strikes.
For a guy who has taken some of the best swings in this series, Michael Saunders has had some funny ones too.
So you didn't like that last one?
Not the swimming pool one. It's like swinging bat in a swimming pool.
One down as Clevenger registers his first postseason strikeout. So here's your swimming pool.
You know when you're in the swimming pool, you swing the bat, it just doesn't go very fast.
94, tying him up inside.
Sorry about that, Michael. You're a king today.
Here's Ezekiel Carrera.
It's good to have the young Clevenger out there working, but it lets you know what lies ahead for Mr. Ryan Merritt, doesn't it?
Merritt will be the Game 5 starter for Cleveland, if there is a Game 5 tomorrow. We're playing in the 8th inning here of Game 4.
That was Roberto Osuna, of course, the closer, but Toronto getting loose.
To right field, and that's in the gap, and it's going to roll all the way to the wall. Carrera around second. Carrera into third. He's got his second triple in as many nights.
I believe this was a third straight changeup. About 89 miles an hour.
Brandon Geyer, the new right fielder, took an angle like he was going to make that play, but then had to call off the jam about halfway there and chase it down.
Here's Kevin Pillar. Indians bring the infield in. They're already down 3. And can't let it get worse here in the 8th.
Anticipating the suicide squeeze was Terry Francona. Pitch out. Very few managers have the nerves to do that 2 times in a row.
The 1-0. Foul off. Here's Carrera on the shot to the gap, and that is the moment he knew that this was not going to be 2, but 3.
He's been fun to watch in the postseason, hasn't he?
I'd like to see how fast he got to third. He cut those bases pretty tight.
To right field. Geyer makes the catch. Carrera will tag and score easily. And Toronto is on top 5-1. Boy, Geyer went airborne to make this play.
Nice hitting by Pilar. Nice diving catch, too.
I mean, the catch is fantastic, but had to get that run in. Pilar did it.
Ryan Goins takes Lowen inside. Three runs through 3 games, 5 in Game 4 for the Blue Jays, fighting for their playoff lives here in Toronto.
See Mike Clevenger keep rubbing his hand and arm against his body, trying to get the sweat off his arm.
2-1 is over. Count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Three and 2.
2-0 change. Could possibly get a 3-2 change right here. Even though he does throw 95.
Fastball.
Fastball away.
Fouled it straight back.
Goins' at-bats have gotten better as the game has gone along.
His last at bat, he hit a bullet left.
Clevenger, 25, did play a little college baseball at the Citadel. Obviously, that haircut would not cut it at the Citadel now. Ball 4. Brings Jose Bautista to the plate with 2 outs here in the 8th. Bautista 0 for 4, did reach on an error in the 7th. When Brian Shaw fielded his swinging bunt and threw it away at first. Popped up toward third. Ramirez squeezes it for the final out. But Toronto tacks on another run. They lead it going to the 9th. Stay tuned after the game for the postseason show on TBS, presented by the Lincoln Motor Company. Casey Stern, Pedro Martinez, Gary Sheffield, Jimmy Rollins at your service. We head to the 9th. Roberto Osuna on to seal this one for Toronto. Not a save opportunity for the Toronto closer.
But his postseason numbers, he's pitched 7 innings, given up no runs and no walks. Melvin Upton Jr. in left field for defensive purposes. Ezequiel Carrera moves to right field.
And it's 0-2 to Jason Kipnis.
Well, gave him everything. Fastball, changeup, and finished him off with the breaking ball at 21 years old.
Francisco Lindor steps in. Osuna was 36 for 42 in save opportunities this season. He's the youngest pitcher in Major League history to have a 30-save season. He's 21. Neftali Feliz was 22 back when he did it for the Rangers in 2010. On the ground to Tulowitzki. Yeah, they have stared elimination right in the eye today. Down 3-0 in this series. And out away now from forcing Game 5 right here tomorrow afternoon. Napoli takes a strike.
All three Cleveland hitters this inning went up there to take a strike and found themselves 0-1.
That missed a ball and a strike. Osuna may be only 21 years old, but he was facing former major leaguers when he was pitching in the Mexican League at the age of 16. He delivers a 1-1 to Mike Napoli, and that's over for a strike.
Couple of low pitches this inning called for strikes.
Toronto is still alive. Blue Jays 5, Indians 1.
It's interesting how quick things can change. This was a clean game for the Blue Jays. Enough offense and great pitching from Sanchez to Cecil to Grilli to Osuna for John Gibbons and his moves. And some tough moves for Terry Francona and loading the bases, and Shaw giving up the runs.
Donaldson, offensively and defensively, Encarnacion gave him a little cushion. And for the first time in this postseason, the Cleveland Indians lose a ball game. Just 2 hits managed by Cleveland. Talked about the day that Josh Donaldson had. Let's hear from Josh and Sam Ryan.
And Josh, the offense wakes up at this when you got it started in the 3rd. Your first home run of the postseason off Corey Kluber. What'd you see there?
He left me a breaking ball. I was up. He spins the ball pretty well. And, I was fortunate to kind of, stay in the at-bat, the pitch right before that. I felt like I kind of let him get away with one, and then, he came right back to it, and I was able to put a good piece of contact on it.
Second time you saw him this postseason in this series, but your defensive play in the 5th, the potential tying run on second base, Carlos Santana, you laid out, you made that play. How do you describe that?
It was a big play for us, and I was very fortunate to be able to make it. They have some good hitters over there. I got to be on my toes. That's kind of what I bring to the game, defense as well. And I was able to make the play. It was good.
You can use all the cliches. Possible elimination game, backs against the wall, must win. What is the mood of this team now?
Yeah, I mean, we're going out there playing to win every game. That's what we got to do. And we believe that we have the team to be able to do that. And, you know, it takes one game at a time and one pitch at a time, one at bat at a time, everything at a time. But the fact of the matter is we were able to get it done today.
Thanks, Josh. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Guys, back to you.
One everything at a time. Well said. I'm telling you that, and they did. This was start of a 4-game winning streak. They hope they've done that 8 times this year. And we came on the air telling you that number, and also the fact that Cleveland is the only team in the major leagues not to have a 4-game losing streak this year. Toronto wins this one. Back with some closing comments on this Toronto performance when we come back.